Look, a lot of things change after an entire bottle of wine, okay? All right? Your perspective on life, things you care about, the things you say. It's all different. Anyway.
Yeah, sure.
For example, a bottle of wine ago, I wasn't smoking a cigar, and now I'm about to light up this Rocky Patel. Check this bad boy out.
But how's that the wine's fault? Oh yeah, that looks
That's
tough.
a disciple.
Did you ever that? So you know, I talked to a guy at a Rocky Patel
No way.
spot. You know, in
at a
Pittsburgh.
spot. Okay.
Yeah. It's like a Rocky Patel cigar lounge out in Pittsburgh.
All right.
And I asked him, I was like, because I was like, break it down, like, because I had the disciple, because we had a disciple before, and I was like, okay, so in regards to Rocky Patel's, where do you rank everything? And the disciple, he was like, yeah, it's up there, it's a very great cigar, da da da. But that's when I found out like that decade cigar, and that ALR, Alpha Lima Romeo, that ALR was tough, and he was like, these are also very good. He liked them a little bit better than the disciple, and that's why I bought one of each. I was like, let me go and check these out.
Which one do you like more?
So, ALR.
Really?
I had a box pressed ALR. Yeah, that one's
Now you know
tough.
me, man. I love a good box press. But Rocky Patel, the reason why I got into Rocky Patel's was because of their box press cigars.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, get that ALR.
The
Get that-
disciple,
thought
I mean, that's
gave you an
obviously
ALR.
not a box press,
Yeah.
but that's a cool view. Anyway, makes everything look so much bigger.
Do everything in the mirror.
I'm gonna use that. No, you're dumb. I'm not dumb. You're dumb. All right. So, what's your favorite cut?
man.
Let's just get after it. What's your favorite cut? Before I can tell you right now.
The deep V. The deep
Look
V.
what I got right there.
That's not a deep V, but it's a V.
That's a deep V. What are you talking about? That is a
It goes
Craftsman's Bench deep V.
the cut that I got, I'm guarantee you goes deeper than that.
Yeah, okay. It's in a black versus white thing there, C string. Okay, this is. What is this? What is this? What would you call this? An Asian V? I meant shallow V? Average V.
I think that's like a regular. If I was to get my cutter, you'd see that thing goes like it cuts it. I used to have one of those. This is why I'm saying that. I used to have one of those, and then I went and I bought the one I got
Get your
now.
cutter.
And
Get your cutter. Let's show the people. What we're missing. Let's see your deep V. Let's see it right now. Come on. Yep. Get your ass up. You don't know what he's talking about. Deep V. It ain't that deep. Average girth at best. What? Huh?
All right. So you're measly shit, right? So first and foremost, this one.
Oh,
Did yours do that? Probably not. Now look how much you're cutting into that, as opposed to half that shit was yours. Talking about DV, this goes into the damn.
So what
cigar.
you weren't privy to was me talking shit about you just now. That one does look a bit girthier than mine. Yeah.
It's got good weight.
It's evenly balanced.
Absolutely. So, yeah, man, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Fuck off.
For a proper burn.
Look, I know no one's ever. You know what? Anyone who hooks up with you is going to get a proper burn. That's for goddamn sure. Better go see your fucking gynecologist.
Do what you must.
Selfish. You know what? I got something for you. You ready? You ready? You
Yep.
ready?
Yep.
Here we goes. You and I have probably one of the most unique. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I know this is a hard 180, from the deep V, but you and I probably have one of the most unique relationships out of anybody I know. I mean, I'm just gonna call it what it is. I don't know a lot of people that have relationships like you and I have, friendships, right? the broader 100,000-foot level of a relationship, or of a friendship would be a relationship. What I mean by that is that there's all sorts of different kinds of relationships, right? So I mean, you got, and not even getting into all the different ABC people, alphabet folks, but you got girlfriends and boyfriends, you got people who are engaged, fiancés, you got folks who are married out there, you got best friends since they were in fucking kindergarten. In fact, obviously, as you can tell, I'm out on the road again. I seem to mention that a lot.
Homewood Suites yet again.
It's not, you know what?
I'm looking at it.
Oh, it is the Homewood Suites. It is, yes. But so either way, on the road again, though, and I'm out here, and one of the guys I'm out here with for this particular trip was talking about, like, his best friend. Now, this invites a different conversation, but he was talking about his best friend from kindergarten, who he went through his PhD fellowship with. I mean, like, from kindergarten through PhD fellowship, opened up their own, clinic, whatever it was, because he's a dermatologist, one of these guys that I'm out here with. Anyway, his friend just passed away. So lots of different types of relationships out there. You and I haven't been friends since kindergarten, right? We've been friends since 10 years ago, probably, something like that, right? So my conversation that I would like to submit would be one about relationships. What does it take to maintain a relationship? What's it take to maintain a relationship when you start dating? And an understood we're just dating. Is there a difference between dating and boyfriend, girlfriend? Obviously, there's a difference between, like, a one-night hookup and I'm not trying to fucking marry you. But, those different relationships. So what's it take, like, from dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, marriage, for you, right? I want to know what your mindset is on that. And what's it take just to maintain a basic relationship, meaning friends, not acquaintances. Acquaintances, I think acquaintances, and this is just for me, acquaintances are more of a communicative type of thing, right? Like, we communicate on the regular, but I don't call you, but I don't call you when I'm broke down on the side of the road, right? I call my
it's probably more of a shallow nature,
right? Well. Okay, so there's my intro. You reminded me that I totally fucked up our intro on the last one. So I'll just go ahead right now before I spark up and pour myself a whiskey. Welcome to the Cruxman. Oh, you know what else?
Welcome,
what else I'll get out of the way real quick is my shameless plug. Tonight on my end of the camera is Infused Spirits Bourbon. Small batch. Not extra small batch, so I've gotten larger. I've gotten bigger. Infused with French oak.
Bottle-wise.
I can't pronounce that word, sherry. And extra bourbon cask. There it is. There's my shameless plug for the night, along with my disciple. Over to you, relationships. Let's get after it.
I mean, it wasn't very specific. You said all the relationships. There's different levels to all those relationships. A friend,
You know what?
Friend relationship.
I mean, here you go. Here's a more specific aspect of a relationship. A relationship is two directions, right? You both have to give to that relationship in order for that relationship to thrive, to blossom, right? I mean, hopefully, right? You're like, I don't care for being associated with folks that just take from me, right? So I guess a big part of a relationship for me would be like the appreciation aspect. Like, I think of it as appreciation, but like the give and the take.
It's value.
There you go.
It's the value.
There you go.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's and this I don't any relationship, guy, girl, guy, I guess human, dog. You know what I mean? You get something from it that benefits you on some level. And that is the taking that you're getting. That's what you're receiving, but also you're giving someone that same benefit value in the relationship, and it's a beautiful back and forth.
It's a symbiotic.
You know? I'm about to say it's a symbiotic relationship where it's like, okay, like we both feel good in what we are receiving and what we are giving, and no one feels left, without,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't necessarily stay that way just because expectations change, and I think like if you're talking in terms of like a guy and a girl, or even, two dudes that are homeboys, whatever, I mean, I think that's just what it is, if the expectation, because think about this is tough guy girl, right?
Okay.
I think when you come in there, when you meet a girl, the expectation is, I just want to see if I like this person and if we can even if I can even be around them for X amount of time. And then if you meet that expectation, then that changes to, the expectation is, are you a good person for my life in the long term? Because like you're good for like the short term. Like, do you check all these other boxes, and then you meet that expectation. But it's when people start getting on, like we're not on the same page, like kind of like when you move in with another person, you expect them to be maybe similar to you, or if not better, right? People can deal with an upgrade. The person who's already upgraded can't deal with the downgrade. You know what I mean? So like if you are let's just say a very neat, tidy individual,
Mm-hmm.
right? The person that comes in, if they are not like you, they're kind of like a dirty motherfucker, right? If they come in, they can appreciate, they have no problem dealing with a clean environment. Who's going to complain? Oh my God, this place is too clean. I hate it. No one's going to say that. But you're going to have a problem dealing with a dirty person because now you're having to pick up after this person. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm talking about not just like a simple way of like explaining, because there's different levels of that.
First
right?
of all, don't be gross.
Oh, I mean, but don't be gross, but that's also in other forms as well. If you're coming into a situation where you, like, once again, like you initially, it makes sense. Long-term words, it doesn't mean that it makes sense for that relationship. Some relationships, you've got to chop it where it's at. It can't go beyond this because you are definitely two different types of people. But you can deal with each other on this level, but it doesn't mean it has to.
Well, that
in terms of that, in terms of like, once again, like, what do you give to the? I'm not saying that if you're like a big brain, super smart, that you can't hang with a person who isn't intellectually on that level, because that person might be your superior in another way, but you balance each other out.
Opposites do attract, and for good reason. Yeah,
100%. So once again, I think it's kind of like, how do you compliment the other person? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you compliment the other person well, regardless of where they are. So like, if you say you're like a super tidy person, you don't mind doing that, cleaning up after someone, then that's fine. Because maybe they thrive in other ways that you are kind of lax. And you're just like, you know what? It's just, I don't have a problem doing that because they make up for it in this way. And that's 100% fine. But I think you've got to kind of find what works, and not everything. It doesn't, not every relationship is just automatic, and I don't know.
So let me add this before I start puffing. As you alluded to this a minute ago, as relationships progress, we're not just talking about different levels of relationship. We're not just talking about friends versus intimate, sexual partners or whatever, however you want to classify it. You get into a relationship with somebody, let's just say a relation, not even just like a you and me, like a friendship, a bond that you and I have, like brothers from another mothers or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've said all day, but also accurate. Either way, you get into a relationship with their family, right? So now you're not just in a relationship with one fucking person. You're in a relationship with a bunch of people you might not fucking like. So how do you then how do you balance?
I've never been in that situation. But in my mind, right, I've been around, let me see, like, luckily, I've never been in that situation. But I'm going to just say, if it gets to the point where, I'm familiar with the situation because it's happened in my family, actually, where the family did not necessarily like this individual, but that person is still here because true, you do. You've never
dated someone and then met their family and been like, this isn't going to work.
No,
Really? Okay. All right.
only because I've only met. Well, the way I operate, I've only probably met 2 families. Shit, so I'm usually more so on the. No, actually, okay, maybe it's like 3. But yeah, I get along with folks. I've never been around to like for them to hate my guts or vice versa. Usually, like a lot of times, like I get along with everybody.
I have.
I don't, you know, but I've seen how, like, you know, those that are close to me, right? I've seen like in my family where they weren't necessarily liked or they didn't welcome outsiders. And I saw how that went down, but yet that those people are still here. And so I say that because it's like, granted, you might marry into a family or be dating someone who has a family who hates you. But if that person is going to let that get between how they feel about you, then you know what? It is what it is. Right? Because it's like it's not, you're not necessarily marrying these people. I don't live with these people. I'm not fucking these people. Those are your fam. You have to deal with that. That's not what I have to deal with, right? That would have to be, that's more pressure on the person that you're with, not on you.
No, I agree.
I agree. You know what I'm saying? And all that extra, like if I go into like if I'm dating like a white chick and her family is racist as fuck, she knows this. She knows this like before I even show up. Like she like
this is exactly
my dad's a little.
This is exactly what I was actually. I wanted to go. I wanted to go here. I wanted to go here with you.
Well, let's go there. So like my thing is like if she knows this and I'm just kind of like, and she's like, hey, listen, just so you know, like this is how my family is. Da da da. I know that I first and foremost, like, I appreciate the heads up, right? And now I get to choose my own destiny. Do I want to continue on in this way with this girl? Come by.
See you in the morning.
You know, do I want to continue in this way with this individual? Or do I want to go ahead and just keep it pushing? How much do I care about you to go through the bullshit? You know what I'm saying? And vice versa for her. How much does she want to go through with me and if she's tight with her family, she's putting that relationship on the line.
How far have you pushed that in the past? Like, have you been?
No. I've never had to do that. That's what I'm saying. I've never had this issue. But I'm saying like I have dated. I mean, I date women. You know what I mean? I've dated women of all flavors, and I've dated women, right? And I'm not even talking about white chicks neither, right? There's some Latins out there that don't necessarily care for some Hispanic women that don't. Their family doesn't care for black dudes.
I'm sure everybody who listens to our podcast has been waiting for us on what is this? Our 5th episode to get into the whole racial thing because they see a white dude and a black. You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think if people are looking for that, they're waiting for that. They're looking for the drama, which that's not what we do. Now we're going to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly of life. That's what we're going to do.
That's what I meant by that. People who are listening to this, waiting for the fucking drama to happen, can fuck off because that's not the jam.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, like, you know, and the thing is about it, you're going to have 2 different perspectives. Now, is this the end all be all? No. You got a perspective from a person from both of these extremes in terms of the polarizing ethnicities of America.
Here's how I look at our relationship. If there was any bit of controversy here whatsoever, it would be very much that I'm the platinum of Apple perspective, and you're the Samsung version. I'm just look. If I'm being honest,
Samsung's better than
I just don't.
But back to the task.
Go talk to your internet, Salt.
I don't. Well, it's back on. It's on point right now. So I don't. When it comes to stuff like that, you talk about both people risking something, and if both are willing to put themselves on the line for that.
We're talking about a Romeo and Juliet, the Montagues. I mean,
it's that too. I mean, like it's happening like every day. There's not everybody. It doesn't. Listen, we come from a generation where a lot of integration is accepted. You go a generation or two.
It's actually too accepted in my opinion, but that's probably a different topic.
I mean, well, maybe not. I mean possibly.
If I can excuse my terminology, but minorities are given more of a privilege. If you check more boxes these days, you're given more of a plus up versus someone who's actually fucking qualified. And this is getting super off topic from relationships, but
I don't. Yeah. that is definitely a different topic. I disagree on that. But once again, we can go on that a whole. We can go ahead and map that out. I'm talking relationship wise. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about all those things. When it comes to a relationship, and like I said, granted, it doesn't matter. Like I said, for me, if I'm dating a Mexican girl, white girl, if she's not black, this is something I have to think about, right? There is a potential that she might love the hell out of me, but her family does not. And my little brother has felt this personally, where he was really digging a girl, but her family was like, basically, no.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? And she liked him, he liked her, but they were like, no. And it crushed his soul. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, man.
Well,
like,
what was the straw that snapped that? I mean, like if they were both digging each other.
No, like she told her, no, her family was like, no.
So
you need to stay focused on what you got going on.
So she said no.
Basically not going to marry him.
No based on her family's influence.
Yeah.
Damn.
That is a regular thing.
No.
That's a regular. I've seen that happen over and over and over again. Like like I said, for me, I have not had to deal with that. Me personally. You know what I'm saying? But I do, like my little brother's dealt with it. I've seen other people have to go through it. I have friends of mine who some of their family, they probably wouldn't care for me. But once again, I'm not showing up eating at the dinner table with these folks. They just gave me word like, yo, hey, this is just my background. This is that. I'm like, well, and for me, I'm not gonna sit there and judge you. I get that. We're rocking, but I can't speak for previous generations. Because on my side of my fam, I got people that don't rock certain motherfuckers, man. And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I am who I am. Oh, absolutely. Once again, older generations, they come from a different era. I'm not going to sit there and take that on. People meet me and they would probably never think, oh, man. Like my immediate family is great. I got people in my family that don't rock with everybody. But once again, they're also having different experiences as well in this life that they brought them to those conclusions. You know what I'm saying? So,
and you know what though? If everybody out there can understand that, take that for face value, because that's really all it is, right? We don't have to psychoanalyze everybody, right? This is what I meant by when I started this out, right? My relationship, you and I, we have a relationship that is not the standard, right? It's just not. Okay, right? Like, and this is something we haven't really talked about yet, and it's a little bit of a sidebar, but that's kind of our style.
You got to explain in terms of it not being the standard, because a lot of folks,
right? And that's where I'm going with that, right? So, for those of you who can't see a screen clearly, I will explain. You're obviously a black dude. I'm obviously a white dude. So 100 years ago, we're not fucking friends, right? And it's not because we didn't want to be. It's because that's what the nation said we couldn't be, based on where I grew up. Specifically, I can't speak for the North. I will say now, though, and being from the South, I can tell you there's still a lot of racism in the South, like a lot. Right? My family, not so much. I mean, you met my family. You were at my wedding, you know. There was a joke that was told with my dad, and I'll say that for another conversation that was a little bit different. But I don't think everyone would approve of this.
And then that's, I guess, we come from different worlds. Like for me, going to school, being a minority in my school.
You were a minority in the school?
Out here. For me going to school out here, like, or in Cali,
you got to clarify.
Right?
I was thinking like grade school. Like I assume like in New York, you were probably all black school, no?
I was a kid going to school, minority, one of not many. You know what I'm saying? My dad put me into school where it was, he wanted the best education.
Okay.
Period. Dot. You know what I'm saying? And so that's, for me, that is what it was. So let's be clear, like big city wise, I think this is something that happens more often than not, or at least it's acceptable, right? Like when you're in a big city, I don't know small towns other than what I've been to for a short period of time. I didn't grow up in a small town. I grew up I'm a big city kid. Like that's just me, LA, New York, like that's what I know in terms of how people get down. Now you've got some folks don't like to see the intermixing, right? But I mean, for the most part, everyone is interacting in the big city. White dudes, black dudes, Asian dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like all that. And people are smashing everybody.
You're your own ecosystem there.
White chicks.
Yeah,
but now I didn't grow up like that though. Like I didn't grow up my pops, my mother, nobody told me that I was who I could and could not rock with. They weren't against any of that. Now, I don't think it has to do with 100% your setting, right? It comes up to be how you were raised because you came up in that era, in that area, but that's not how you function. That's not your mentality. You see what I'm saying? So if they had hardcore, like, yo, like you don't do this, you don't do that, you might feel some kind of a way. You might feel differently about that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up like that. I don't raise my daughter like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want her to see colors. I don't want her to go out in this world and feel like she is less than, or that there's like this competition based. Now, granted, is it part of the game? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want her having that chip on her shoulder. I want her to see something else. I want her to work based on her merit. You know what I'm saying? I want her to know why. Now, see, this is in terms of like how, like for me, like with my kid, right? I want her to know why she does what she does, why she should be doing what she do, why she should excel, right? Because her being not only a girl, but she's also black, she's going to have to double down in terms of her effort. That's how I came up. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's going to be handed to you. You have to work, which is why my dad put me in a school where he taught me, was like, don't think that you're stupid because you're in a classroom with white kids and Asian kids. You know what I'm saying? You are just as smart as these other kids. So show that. You know what I'm saying? You could do the work just like these other kids. You know what I'm saying? And that was something, and my dad's big on education. That was something that he wanted to make sure we had confidence in so we can go out into the world and we could work and not feel like, oh my God, like I'm in an office full of white folks. Like, oh shit, like they're so much better. No, like you came up around these individuals and there's no difference. You know what I'm saying? It's just what amount of effort are you going to put into it? That was what he said. And that's what I want to do. That's what I do with my kid. So anyway, with that being said, there are places in this country where this is not acceptable. And this is just me and in my gut and my soul, granted, this country is huge. I don't think that this is as bad of a thing that people make it out to be. You know what I'm saying? I think this is an interaction, white folks, black folks, that is more common than it is uncommon in terms of people getting along. You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of people don't like it and they try to stir the pot in terms of the racial, but I think the majority of folks get along. And I'm talking not just white folks, black folks, but like Asian, Islander, all that. I rock with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Saying like white, black, everybody. You know what I mean? I go out in the world and I have a great time with everybody. I go to quinceañeras and bar mitzvahs and all that. I mean, I've done it all. You know what I mean? Since a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. I love the interaction with especially cultures that are new to me.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can bring them into. But I like sharing my culture with other cultures, and then they like doing the same. And it once again, you talk about relationships, right? It's the value piece. If I have a Japanese friend and I go to Japan and I got some good friends out there in Japan, I love experiencing their culture, but they also love my culture. They love hip hop. They love the dress. They love the talk. They like the movies. The same stuff that I like, they enjoy that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone enjoys the upside though, right? Everyone enjoys the upside. And I'm not trying to make this a dark conversation, but everyone enjoys the upside, right? Like you've met my family. I've met some of your family. Yeah. Like we enjoy the upside. Like I think what I'm getting after is like the root of, well, first of all, we started talking about relationships and what is important. What are the key elements to maintaining a relationship? Mm-hmm. And we will get there. We're going to circle back to that in just a minute. But there's a level of, and I've used this word before, there's a level of ignorance that comes into play when you're trying to establish a relationship, right? Because we go back, right? You and I have discussed this before on previous podcasts with talking about taking responsibility, right? A lot of people will start out a conversation and be like, I don't like you because of X, Y, and Z. When you listen to X, Y, and Z, all you're hearing is them blaming someone else for their own fucking problem. I don't like this person because of this. And I'll give you an example, right? Just to hone in. I know someone whose father was stabbed to death by a black man. At a very young age, I think he was 8 or 9 years old when this happened. It did not happen in front of him, but that is the reality of the situation. To this day, this person that I know still does not like black folks because it is ingrained. And now this was borderline 30 years ago because of that particular scenario, right? So
on the flip side,
go ahead
real quick. This is what happened to me. I get on a train. It's a busy train. It's a car. I stand next to a white lady. She looks at me, grabs her purse, and clutches it tight. What? I didn't do shit to you. I don't know what happened to her in her past, right? You're blaming. So what you're talking about, like, you're talking about like one person did this and you blame the entire fucking everybody else.
If we're being honest, right? If we're being honest, whenever you and I are on trains, I grab my purse too. So,
well, as you should. You should always pat your pockets down. You never know, baby. You never know. You know what I mean? But it's that, right? It's now. Granted, who knows? Nothing may not ever happen to this lady. Nothing probably ever happens to this lady. But it's the perception that you see me and what she's seen on TV and guys that look like. And then, granted, I'm even a little dude. And back when I was in high school, I was a little shorter.
Do you want to share with everyone how fucking big you are? Finally,
absolutely not. So when I was shorter and I was not as big back then, right? Before I started kind of doing some weights and things like that.
What are you
still,
like?
I was like 6 foot.
You're like 5'7", like 155.
Absolutely,
just a little guy.
It's all day. I go all day,
With a big ego. Big ego.
But it's that experience, though, right? That like she probably has never had, but it's the perception. I'll say like this: me coming to San Diego, I was a different dude when I got to San Diego. I was very much. I dressed hoodies, baggy jeans, boots. Not San Diego.
Not just boots. Let's be specific.
When I got
Tim's.
No, I mean Tim's, but I because it just went with the outfit. Like it's just what it was. I'm rocking the hats. I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm moving around this city, and there's nobody like me, right? And the thing is, because at the time, right when
San Diego's a surf town now.
Well, yes, and it's a skinny jean type place. Like so, everything changed. When I got here, nothing was like it was when I left the States. Everything was different, So when I came back, and I never thought that skinny jeans would be a thing, but like it's a thing now, So I'm
tracking what you were saying now. Yeah, I'm tracking.
I'm looking like, as my dad's like, you look like a hood, but I was looking like that, And so I'm running around and I'm wondering why people are looking. First and foremost, they're looking at me crazy, right? It ain't like black folks looking at me crazy, white folks looking at me crazy, and I'm not getting access into certain places. Right. And so for me, having been in a situation before, I was like, you know what? You need to adapt to your environment. Now, granted, at the time, I'm like shifting into like my 30s. So I was like, you know what? I need to probably grow up anyway. Let's start dressing different, looking different. This is what I told myself. I'm trying to tell you like my train of thought. So I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Time to change my whole outfit. You know what I'm saying? We got to look different. And the thing is, I'm not going to do San Diego. I'm not a flip-flop dude. Never will, ever. Right? Unless I'm in Hawaii, I'll rock some flip flops. I might rock some chocolates, right?
But
I'm not going to sit there.
You rock slides though, right?
Yeah, that's a hooping thing though. Yeah, I rock the slides.
You taught me about
Absolutely.
that once upon a time. Remind me what it was.
Well, slides, right? It's not too often. I'm not going to speak for everybody, right? But you'll see a lot of black dudes, they rock slides with socks. People think it's crazy. And I've heard this, some of my Brazilian friends, they think I'm crazy because I wear my slides and I got socks, and they're like, oh my God, like take the socks off. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, it's a sports thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you wear the slides, you're wearing those to
That's
the
right.
court.
That's right.
You got to go play basketball. You got your sneakers. But you don't wear your sneakers everywhere because you lose the grip. So you keep them in your bag. When you get to where you're going, the gym, the hardwood, because that's where you need that grip. You take the slides off, put the
let's be clear. Let's be clear though, right? Those look. I played basketball briefly in high school. Those shoes are not cheap,
and they're not cheap neither. But the thing is, it's not. But it's not about necessarily the cost. It's about I need to compete. So I'm here to tear folks up. And I can't be on skates on this hardwood floor, especially, after a nice dust mop, sure, but it doesn't last forever. Like you need to have good grip. That's why you be seeing dudes like rubbing the bottom of their shoes with their hands, trying to clear off that dust so they can get that skate, like all that that you hear on the court when you're out there balling. Like that's
I played you in 1v1 one time, and it will be the last fucking time I ever goddamn play you. Because I ended up with a fucking it wasn't a broke ankle, but goddamn it felt like it. Because your big ass landed right on my goddamn foot.
And that's, me with messed up knees. And
don't make excuses and make me sound like more of a pussy than I already am, okay? Look.
Hey, like, it was different when I was balling overseas.
I had one good shot. I remember clear as day. You're like, all I know is I dominated. All I remember is that one good shot that I made. And I was like, you know what? Fuck off. Fuck you. I took it.
I was taking a breather. I was like, I'm already up by 20.
I don't care. Yeah, you were sipping Gatorade when I made the shot, but I don't fucking care. I don't care. Because I made the shot. What's important to me is that I made the shot.
And as you should. It's kind of like my sister. She still remembers when she beat me in Around the World back when we were little kids. And I was like, you know what? She'll never let me forget. Hey, remember that one time when you were 7 and I was 5 and I beat you in Around the World? I'm like, I don't want to
digress that much, but I will tell you, this reminds me of exactly like you know me, I'm a diehard Alabama fan. We'll get into that later. I'm from Alabama, for those of you who haven't figured that out yet. I'm from Alabama, diehard Alabama fan. Love Nick Saban, love Paul Bear Bryant. I love my Crimson fucking Tide, okay? And now the other half of my family is Auburn fans, right? It's like 50-50. All the Auburn fans in my family remember is that fucking kick six. That's all they remember. They talk about it constantly. So you know what I remind them of? I'm like, any team that beats Alabama on a Saturday considers that a winning fucking season. If they beat Alabama, that's a winning season. You know what Alabama fans call a Saturday? A fucking Saturday.
Another game.
Just another fucking Saturday.
I guess that's all it is, Yeah, it's for you guys. It's championship.
So y'all can suck a disciple, okay? I digress greatly, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was even talking about. So anyway, I think I was talking about like I changed my wardrobe, acclimated to my new environment, and found myself now being accepted in a different way. Right? People perceive me differently. You know what I'm saying? Based upon like my attire, right? And I wouldn't have got that dressed one way. So anyway, I can't remember what we were talking about. In terms of like white, black, whatever, people, how they look at you is how you're going to be treated. It sucks that with that one incident that happened with, your friend, whomever, that they now wrote off all black folks because one black dude shanked their family member. You know what I'm saying? That's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that lady felt that she needed to clutch her purse around me because I stepped onto the train. And she, all of something, I was talking like steal something.
Let me submit this to the conversation.
That perception, though, but now if I step in a suit, she may not do that. You see what I'm saying? So it's what you see is what.
What was that? Remind me, help me out. I'm horrible with movie names. The Will Smith flick where he was trying to come up. Hardcore. He was on the streets with his son.
Oh,
yes, Pursuit of Happiness. He didn't show up to interviews looking like a bum. He showed up in a suit. It was the only suit he had. It was the only thing he could afford, and that's fine. Perception is reality in a lot of cases.
He would not have ever gotten that job without that suit.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So I say that to prove your point.
Even if it is a bum suit.
But I will also subject this to the conversation. I grew up in a small town, so this is not relevant to everyone. You can say that dismisses what I'm about to say if you want, but it doesn't, because you and I know where we came from and how we got where we're at right now. And we can go for hours on that whole journey. But I will.
But small town is still a perspective. Like,
that's exactly where I'm going with this. Small town mindset creates for small town understanding, right? So you take somebody who's, in the example I gave earlier, as egregious and uncommon, unfortunate of a situation as it was. Mm-hmm. You take someone in a small town whose dad got stabbed to death by a black guy, and now he thinks for the rest of his life, because he never leaves that small town, he never understands anything more than that small town. I said this earlier. I said this on a previous podcast with the woman that I talked about that owned the house and had the tenant, right, that complained about the dirty dishes, right? Mm-hmm. So expand it only slightly from house to now your town. That is your reality, right? You and I have traveled the entire world. We have seen so many different cultures and experienced those cultures, to understand there's such a bigger level. Let's talk about altitudes, okay? This is how I can equate it, right? You take 1,000-foot altitude, all you know is what lives within your 1,000-foot altitude. Beyond 1,000 feet is magic. Fairy dust, pixie dust, fucking God, whatever you want to think of it, that is something outside of your reality, okay? That small town mentality creates a small town understanding and perspective of the world, right? So he thinks all black people are bad because of that one incident in that small-minded mentality. Now, guys like you and I, who have been all over the world, that 100,000-foot level, we're out in outer space looking at things from a grander perspective, understand that sometimes shit happens. Some people suck, but there's also people who are absolutely fantastic in life. And that's honestly, let's talk about our relationship for half a second. I'm sorry about the sniffles, man. It's cold out here. I'm sure people are watching and be like, yo, how much coke has this dude done? Like,
I think you're probably going to laugh and you're going to see this spray.
I'm not snorting anything. I promise you. It is cold out here. I have a deviated septum, if you can't tell from my crooked ass fucking nose. But anyway, I digress anyway. I deviate with my septum. Haha. See what I did there? That was dumb. Whatever. Outtake. That's how people see things. Okay, go ahead.
I agree with everything you're saying. And you could take it beyond the small town, right? You could take it to a USA. People feel some kind of a way. Let's just pick a point on the world, right? In particular, the Middle East, right? People have a lot to say about Middle Eastern folks.
That's not.
They've never been.
Okay, I see where you're going. Okay. I see.
Hear what I'm saying, right? People have a lot. We have, right? People don't get around often, right? You're talking about folks that never left the little small town Alabama, but there's people who've never left our borders, USA. They have a lot to say about other
there's
cultures,
folks who have never left their. There's folks who've never left their fucking state.
They've never. This folks haven't left a 10-block radius. You know what I'm saying? If your town is big enough and your 10-block to 20-block radius offers everything in the world, right? For instance, you go to New York City, you don't have to leave your borough. You can stay right there. You don't have to go outside of that. If you even in LA, think about it, right? You don't have to leave LA. You don't have to go to San Diego. You don't have to do shit. You can stay right there in LA. You know what I'm saying? You can stay in Torrance. You know what I'm saying? Where I went to school at. You know what I'm saying? You can stay. People don't get around is what I'm saying.
Hold on.
Even though we have all this
those
technology.
people who are listening and actually paying attention, explain how you got from the Bronx to Torrance.
My dad didn't want me to die, so he brought me to Cali, and I started school out here, and that's how I got to Cali. But you know what I mean? But because it was just getting bad. It was getting really super bad, and he was just like, you know what? I mean, he wanted to be an actor. There's a lot of things that went into play with that. I was, fucking small, so it is what it is. But my thing is that there's people that don't get around. Like, people don't travel with all this technology, with airplanes and all that. And it's not necessarily because they can't afford to. Sometimes it is. A big part of that is finances. But a lot of people aren't willing to put themselves in another person's shoes, right? So you've got folks that come from like a very affluent part of town. They're not going to go drive to the hood necessarily, depending on what they're after, right? But they're not going to go experience the culture and say, what's up? They're just not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? This is the difference too, right? Because there's black folks that leave their neighborhood to go and are forced to integrate into other places because they want opportunity, and that's where the money's at, right? It isn't the other way around. You know what I'm saying? Unless that person grew up there or they were forced there because finances is why they had to move to these neighborhoods, they're not just going there. No one just goes to the hood. Nobody just shows up just because. You know what I'm saying? So there's more. So this is why you got there's a lot of folks. And I don't know. Has nothing to do with relationships. I don't even know how we even fucking got here. But you got there's this movie. Oh my god! I just got finished watching this. It's called Sorry to Bother You on Netflix.
Okay.
I watched this on a flight, and it had me cracking up because now, granted, it had me cracking up because there's one of the actors in there. He's from what's the joint? The Jordan Peele, the first one that came out, where she was clinking the fucking tea cup. Get Out.
Get Out. Yeah.
He dies early in the movie. He's a good actor, but he dies early in the movie. He's also in I can't remember the Western.
Jordan Peele, Keenan.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, I know, but Jordan Peele, he and Keenan had a show as well, right? Didn't they? Keenan Peele. Yeah.
Peele.
They're both geniuses, as far as I'm concerned. Like they're.
I agree, but it is a copycat of the Chappelle Show. When I saw that,
hold on.
I was hard against. Granted, Key and Peele is funny. Don't get me wrong, but when I saw that come on, I was like, they just basically replaced the Chappelle Show.
So in their defense, though, and now given the conversation we're having, I'm going to go ahead and defend as a white guy. I'm going to defend the black dudes and say it's not a copycat. It's they took Chappelle. They took the idea of the Chappelle Show, which was absolute genius. Which, by the way, for those people who don't know the genius behind the Chappelle Show, it's not just Dave Chappelle, right? There's a Neil Brennan who is the whitest Jewish guy you ever fucking saw, who is a genius in his own right, that made that show, right? So
there's a bunch of folks that come into play with any show. The success isn't just one guy. The name is
people could argue that what we're doing right now is not original. We play off the experiences that we've had, right? So.
Granted, and even for me, looking at the Chappelle Show, right? If we're going to talk about like that, Chris Rock did it first. The Chris Rock Show was outstanding. That was in the '90s, and people don't even really think about that because a lot of people weren't.
And Richard Pryor. Yes, Pryor, thank you.
He had a show too. So there have been shows, no doubt, absolutely. The success of the Chappelle Show, next level, right? People are still quoting that thing.
So let me finish my point.
You know
the success is not written on the first episode. It's not written on the inspiration of getting there.
Chappelle Show was.
No.
This episode is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Okay, but that wasn't episode. episode
yeah,
one puts him on the map, right? But he was also in not How High, Half Baked, right? And
but that
Neil Brennan was also a part of that. But
nobody really,
I do.
That's what I'm saying. Neil Brennan is a
I do.
Neil
Right.
Brennan,
But either way, my point is though is that everything is a copycat of something else. You just take it to another level, right? So you and I
and it's
are
more
in agreement. And look, we're only episode 5, I think, recording right now. And I will tell you right now, everything we're discussing right now, it's our perspective on life, but it was derived by the inspiration of exactly the people that we just discussed, right? Because we have seen these folks go out and make something of their lives when they had nothing. And let's be honest, right? Like from the Bronx to where you are now, from small town Alabama, and I can't speak for the Bronx. I can speak for small town Alabama, though. Small town Alabama to where I am now, I am the only person in my family, with one exception, and I hope we have him on the show one day as a guest. One of my cousins has done exceptionally well for himself, and I'll leave his name out because if he comes on the show, that will be its own thing. He'll introduce himself. Why we're here, it's all a duplicate of something else, man. Nothing. We've been around, and social media, unfortunately, and I mean that unfortunately, has been around long enough that nothing's really fucking original anymore. Nothing's original, but you know what is original?
What's original is what we said before. It's our voice. We have an original voice.
It's our voice. It's our opinion. It's an organic mindset. Like if I had to go out and tell, if I told people that we didn't script this shit, they'd be like, "You're full of shit." What do you mean you didn't script it?
I think they would probably agree. They'd be like, you know what? It makes sense.
I hope it makes sense because that's actually the truth, right? Like, look, we do. Look, listen, folks, listen. Now, maybe this is a whiskey talking right now, but I'm gonna get into it. I don't give a goddamn. You know I don't give a goddamn. We hit fucking play. We hit fucking record. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we fucking go. And this is what you get. And honestly, the best conversations I've had in my entire life, we're now advertising for everyone to hear. And I hope that they take it that way. Bring on the criticism, man. Bring on the criticism. I invite it. But you're going to have a hard time changing my mind about our reality. And that's what I want to focus on, our reality and how we got here. Doesn't matter the influence. Doesn't matter the influence. Our reality is why we are who we are.
I agree. But granted, we are, I guess, no longer talking relationships anymore. It's like a wrap. But I'm gonna say in terms of our reality, you're talking about a sequence of decisions that were made that made this a reality.
Yeah.
Right? Because it has nothing to do with who the hell did it before us. Now, granted, right? Blueprints have been laid. Right? Blueprints have been laid. For a kid in my position to say, I want to be president, it's possible now. You have someone who has done it. It is possible. It's not some impossible thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shit. I will never run. But you know what I mean? So like, it's a possibility. Yeah, I'll get that. Well, shit, and I'll be your VP. You know what I mean? I don't like all that.
You already know.
But you know, like it's So, but it's possible, right? Like we know that the greatest position in all of America is possible for a person that looks like me. 100%. You know what I'm saying? And one day, and the thing about it, like and all these things are being changed, like in real time, And the thing is, it's not like he was granted, everybody has their opinions. I don't get into politics. Fuck all that. You keep that. I'm just going to say, in general, he did a decent job. He wasn't a bum. People like Obama. People rock with Obama.
He got elected. He got elected a second time. That speaks for itself, in my opinion.
Agreed. But listen, and let's just say, fuck the politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could care less, right? How people feel. I'm just saying the dude wasn't a bum. And you can disagree, and that's fine. You know what I mean? And that's it. Case closed. All I'm saying is that you make your life what it is. This is still on the shelf if we don't actually hit record. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a matter of making a move, making a decision. Kind of like we talked about this before. You have to say, I want something different and move in that direction. Start making decisions that are in alignment with that decision, right? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to lose. If I'm 200 pounds and I want to get chiseled and I'm, 5'5", I'm going to lose this weight. And this is what I'm going to do. Step 1, chest day, Monday. Step 2, leg day, Tuesday. You see what I'm saying? And I start doing these things which are in alignment with my goal. If I don't do these things, I'm not going to reach my goal. I'm going to start dieting. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start taking protein. I'm going to start doing the things that people who are in that position have done to get them where I want to be, where I see in my mind. That's the vision. That's the goal. I start doing these things. It ain't going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. It may not happen 6 months from now. It may not fucking happen 2 years from now. But I still keep moving in this way to achieve the goal. And I guarantee
success doesn't happen overnight.
And this is what I know.
Success doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. And this is what I'm saying. I guarantee you, you may not see the results in terms of you being ripped up. I'm using this workout, scenario, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the easiest way, right? The easiest way is to see the results as it's melting off of you. So you may not see it and may not feel like, damn, like I'm still so far. But I guarantee you look nothing like how you started a year in, 6 months in,
right.
A year in. You see what I'm saying? So things are happening. You just haven't reached the end goal. So don't lose track. Stick to the script and keep moving in that direction. And you will eventually get there. But you are not at square one. I promise you that. You take a before picture and an after picture 6 months later, and you might be like, "Oh, I'm still a little But it's much better.
That's a bigger
before.
philosophical conversation though than what we started at though, because
what we started at.
No. I understand. And everyone's going to start to understand as they listen to our podcast. They're going to understand, like, Joe interrupts and he digresses a lot. Salt sticks to the point. Joe goes, and I do. Papa just fucking. My name is Papa Joe, by the way. I shortened it to Papa for those of you who are wondering that. I just wanted to, discourage anyone from. He's like, oh, he calls his name Papa, but he called himself Joe. Like, shut the fuck up. All right, you don't know me. All right. So, period. Dot though. Like, the thing is, like, man, we have a lot of conversations. And the thing is, man, there's a lot of world to discover. There's a lot of understanding to get out there. If you haven't experienced cultures, if you haven't traveled the world, if all you do is sit at home and blame everybody else for why you're sitting the fuck at home, shut the fuck up. Sorry. Quit listening. I don't give a goddamn. I really don't, man. Like, here's the thing. We started talking about relationships. When it comes to relationships, there's no set agenda. There's no algorithm that makes it work per se. There's a simple understanding of humanity. Okay, so you and I, over our 10 years right now, in episode 5 in 2023, January, I think it is. I travel so much I forget what month it is. You and I have an understanding. We have an understanding. The understanding is we're going to have a fucking conversation. We come from two completely different worlds. We could talk about our relationship all day, but what makes our relationship is exactly what just happened the entire hour prior leading up to me saying what I'm saying right now, which is that we're going to set out on one goal and say, okay, hey, here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we're trying to accomplish. We want to talk about what makes the relationship work. Well, what makes the relationship work is exactly what we just did. We deviate from conversation. We have more conversation. We add to the conversation, but we never diminish the other person's remarks. We can disagree, and guess what? That's okay. It's okay to disagree. It's healthy. It's healthy.
It's a healthy thing.
You can say, hey, man, you could say, I will never go to Alabama because I've seen too many movies. And I'm going to say that's fine. I'm never going to go to
But that's also an ignorant answer in terms of that, right?
It was
Based on the
it was
movies,
an example.
right?
It was an example.
I
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I hear
yeah,
what
yeah.
you mean. I hear what you mean, but like that's what what I'm saying. Like that's what keeps people limited. That's what keeps people.
Call
That's
it
what
media.
prevents
Call it
people
what you
from.
want, right? Like people
It's
people
absolutely, it's all
feed
the
things.
above. It's
If you're watching CNN and Fox News constantly, and that's where you're getting your information, you are falsely informed.
it's propaganda, man. It's always been something since day one. It's propaganda.
Nobody
right? People
wants
always.
you and I to be good friends. Guaranteed.
Well, people, shit. I mean, look, a lot of people feel some way about police, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and things like, white, black, whatever. Like, we all got some folks that work
I'm
for
gonna
the police
I'm
department.
gonna
You know what
say
I'm saying? So,
something
like,
that might be highly
know.
controversial, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Please convince me I'm wrong. When Trump was president, I think the only reason he invited Kanye into the Oval Office was to get black votes.
Possibly.
Tell
I mean,
me
not
I'm
gonna
wrong. Tell
deny
me I'm
that
wrong.
at all. I mean, listen, shit. When I think Kamala is VP because they wanted black votes. Let's just be clear, right? Like it wasn't. And I got no
I
beef with
think
Kamala,
I think
but that's a big
everyone
reason why she's
understood
there.
that
It's all political with that in terms of who's putting who in what position you're trying to get
I think
that
everyone
vote.
understood that
And the black vote is
Madam
a very
Clinton was
necessary
not going
vote.
to be good for anybody.
I mean, here we go into politics, and I could care
All right.
less about politics. It's all. I think no. My thing is that it's blatant in your face, like, and this is my and this is me getting into it. I don't want to
You're
get
getting
into it.
into it though. You
But
are.
yeah.
You are, yeah.
I'm leaving it alone. I'm not going to go there because I could throw my 2 cents in. And the thing is, when it comes to politics, everyone has their opinions, and I got mine, and they got you theirs, and I love the exchange. Right? I want to hear it all. Right? That's not what this is for. You want to hear political shit? Go to Fox, go to CNN, go talk to people that want to do that. I'm not going to get into that because it's a never-ending battle. I'm not here trying to convince people why they should do or feel whatever about whatever. That is a very polarizing topic, like religion. You know what I'm saying? People feel the way they feel. Let them do that. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy your life. Do your thing. And I'm not saying that you're right or wrong. I'm not with any of that. For me, I got my views. I'm going to stick to my views. And it doesn't lean left or right. I'm a very level-headed, down the middle type of dude. It's hard for me
I did that
to
wrong.
really rock with
That's
any
my
side.
face. There it is. Right down the fucking middle. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for me to agree with everything on either side. So I don't really know where I land in terms of just independent down the middle. But once again, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm out of here. Boom. Back to relationships, as you were talking about before. And actually, real quick, people, I'm gonna tell you like this. Going back to the whole traveling thing, real quick. Get outside of your town, get outside of your city, get outside of your state, get outside of the country. Go make yourself vulnerable. Go to a Brazil. Experience that beautiful culture. It's outstanding down there. Get a caipirinha, and then tell me what you think. Go to Portugal. Hit up Lisbon, right? Enjoy the train cars out there. Have some, what do they call a pastéis de Natal? You know what I'm saying? Have one of those desserts. Tell me what you think. Go to Japan. Run around Tokyo. Do the robot show, right? Run around Shibuya. Drive the go-karts through Shibuya. I mean, Mario Kart. Do all that thing, right? Have a delicious bowl of ramen. Tell me what you think.
Go to the
outside
south
your
of
board.
Spain.
You know what I'm saying?
God damn, there are so many tiny little bars
Man.
set up on the.
Go to Sevilla.
Sevilla is incredible.
Have
some
man,
some honey
Barcelona.
rum from Sevilla. Oh,
Man, absolutely. Some honey rum.
It's incredible.
Go check out La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. That is an amazing structure, and it'll be done in 2026. If that's my knowledge, it'll be finished. But I'm going back out there to go see that. But all I'm saying is that don't think that your world is where you are, because it is not. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get a taste of the world, go to a big city. Go to New York City and get a flavor of all these different kinds of people. There's people all over New York City. People all over L.A. You can go to Little Ethiopia. You can do these different places in these different cities and get a taste of it, but then go there. Like, make it a point to go there. Go to Romania. Go to Bucharest. Go check out Dracula's castle. Go to Constanza. Go hit the beach and go party on the beach till 5 o'clock in the morning. The sun's rising up over the Black Sea. I'm trying to say, there's just different things you can do, different experiences you can have. And I'm telling you this because it's things that I've done, and it's amazing. And I would not be the guy that I am now, not having had these experiences to tell you about it and tell you that it's possible. This is me. Now this is me, black dude, right? Running around in places where I am a unicorn. Trust and believe. I am a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? And I love it. I love being outside of my comfort zone. I like pushing the limits. It could change if people start knowing my face a little bit more, but it's all good. But my thing is experience life the way it was intended, which is with your fellow human being right next to you. You know what I'm saying? It's not a matter of colors and all that other stuff or different religions and all that other stuff. Yo, you can rock because the basic human needs, the basic things that we all want, it's all the same. We all want our kids to thrive.
Here's what I want to take away from this. I'm going to cut you off, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck your perspective. Not yours. Whoever's listening. Fuck your perspective. Grow your perspective. If you live in a small town and all you know is, I don't like this person because of this, go visit that culture and understand why you should love them. You're limiting yourself on life. You're limiting yourself on life. If you don't, look, small town Alabama, if you don't get out of Alabama, you have no idea what the lobster tastes like in Maine. You know what I mean? You have no idea what it is to go to Southern.
Spain.
I'm just talking about, dude. I'm just talking about the states, right? Like something that's achievable, maybe for some people. Like for you and I, we are fortunate enough that we get to travel, go anywhere, go experience that culture, and then come back and talk to me. Don't sit here and tell me in your limited experience why you are upset with certain folks when you ultimately have no experience with those folks. And on that, my friend, I'm out.
I mean, all right. Well, all right. Case closed.
Case closed.
Peace.